Here we are at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Morning, John.
Espresso shots. How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing well, and you?
Good to have you in this morning.
Nice to be here.
Neil was the first person to kind of say, "Yeah, I'll do that."
Absolutely.
So thank you for doing that. So Neil's got his shot of espresso with no sugar,
No sugar.
and I've got my shot of
Straight up.
espresso. But before we start, should you be having espresso this morning?
Well, I do have a heart monitor on today, so I might have to put in the log. Had a shot of espresso, but don't worry, nothing serious. My cousin actually was diagnosed with a genetic heart condition, and so I thought it was important. I made an appointment with a cardiologist, get checked out, and he feels that I probably don't have the same condition as my cousin. He thinks I'm perfectly healthy, but we're not getting any younger, John, and thought maybe get the full rundown.
We're not getting any younger, so we're going to try not to kill Neil this morning. So anyway, cheers to Kadrinkles and Neil for coming in this morning. You don't have to chug it; it might be hot. When I'm out and about, I chug mine.
Absolutely. I first started drinking espresso on the produce terminal in Toronto. All the produce houses are mostly Italian-owned, and a lot of them have espresso machines right there in their shops, and nothing like a nice shot of espresso at about 4 o'clock in the morning when you're buying produce.
Give you a bit of a jolt.
Yeah.
So I knew Neil was coming in this morning. I thought, man, what am I going to talk to Neil about? He knows everything about sports. He's very versed in politics. There's not much he doesn't know about environmental stuff. It's like, what am I going to talk to Neil about? I thought, I don't know how much he knows about the arts. And I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to run him down on the arts a little bit to get him off his game. So today, our topic is going to be, you know what today is by?
What is today? It's the 25th of January.
And it is?
No idea.
Robbie Burns Day.
Oh, yeah,
Robbie Burns Day.
Absolutely it is.
So considering the small size of Scotland, they've produced a lot of people that have made a significant contribution in the world. Robbie Burns being one of them. What do you know about Robbie Burns?
I know that they have a big dinner up in Parliament Hill for him when I worked there, but
other than that,
well, I'm Polish and Belarusian, so not a whole lot.
So I've got a little bit of Scottish in me. So I got a few questions for you to see if you can answer them or take a shot at them. So, when was Robbie Burns born?
A long time ago.
January 25th. Yes, so 1759. And where was he born? What country?
Scotland.
He was born in Scotland. How old was Robbie when he died?
Oh, no idea.
He was only 37 years old.
Oof.
He started writing poetry when he was 25.
It's like the 27 Club.
So, and what's the traditional meal for Robbie Burns Day?
Haggis.
Haggis and?
No idea.
Haggis and scotch.
Haggis and scotch.
Have you ever had haggis?
No, I have not had.
Never made it, eh? I thought you might have made haggis in your day.
No, I've not. I've never made a haggis.
So if somebody were to come into your shop today and say, we want to make haggis, what would you do? Just say...
You go for it. I'll eat it. I would try it. I'm always up for anything.
Okay, so here's the interesting part of the segment. So a poet, Robert Burns, was a simple poet. He started writing poetry at the age of 25 to impress girls. A simple farmer, and his poetry has kind of transcend time and country. So I have a poem by Robert Burns called "Up in the Morning Early," and I'm going to ask Neil to recite a portion of this poem with me.
Up in the morning early.
And I thought it was the appropriate.
It's like my life.
It is, and that's why
How does that work at 5 a.m.?
I selected this poem. So I'm going to read the first chorus and verse, and then I'm going to get Neil to read the second one.
Sure.
And I'm not even going to give him a chance to look at it prior to reading.
Jeez.
And Neil,
Pressure.
it's I want your best kind of Scottish kind of like.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it my, and these are not easy to read. So it's my attempt at "Up in the Morning Early" by Robbie Burns. Or no, Robbie Burns. Ca blows the wind far east or west, the drift is driving sourly. So loud the shrill I hear the blast, I sure it's winter fairly. Up in the morning, not for me, up in the morning early. When the hills are covered with snaw, I'm sure it's winter fairly.
The birds still chittering in the thorn. That's more Irish than Scottish.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it's an Irish town.
It's an Irish town.
A day they fire but spirally, and langs the night fair in the morn. I'm sure it's winter fairly. Up in the morn, no for me. Up in the morning early, when the hills are covered with snow, I'm sure it's winter farming.
It's snot like snot or
Something like that.
so the farmer's kind of rubbing his nose. It's
Farmer's
snot.
nose.
It's
There
white
you go.
snot. Good job. I read that a couple times.
That's my first go.
Yeah, nice. So yeah. So what do you don't read a lot of poetry or
I not a whole lot.
you didn't write any limericks to girls when you
I
were
was more of a prose guy.
back in nice. So any specials on Make You Drink Us this week? Anything we should be going out there to grab?
Geez, I'm the one who kind of creates the flyers, but I've been doing my year end. I've been getting all my stuff ready with the accountants for my year end. So that's what's been occupying my time this week. Lots of book work.
We're gonna survive another year.
Yeah, it's not an easy business environment out there for any small business.
It's not really a win-win environment.
It's not a win-win environment. I have people who know me know that I have some strong social democratic views, and I'm a very liberal person. But from a small business perspective, we need to make sure that we're not throwing small business under the bus. And it's there's going to be a lot of hard discussions on how do we make sure that we keep small business viable, and as a consequence, rural communities like Westport viable.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's vital to these communities that we continue to move forward and try to find solutions. And Neil has come up with a few good ones with bags and you've already been on the ball with the electricity and reducing your costs in house, and so you're ahead of the game, and that's great that you're doing that. So
I'd hate to be in a situation where we hadn't made those strategic investments. It would certainly make the job that we have ahead of us a lot harder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cheers. Finish up your espresso. Hope you enjoyed espresso shots. We went 7 minutes. This is longer than normal, but Neil's always got a lot to say. Cheers.
Cheers.